You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Decent Show, or Decent After Dark, depending on where Reagan decides to post it. Doesn't matter, though. It is Ryan, as always, joined once again by Kirby.
Kirby!
Kirby, how you doing today?
Hey, what's going on? I'm excited to be here. Had a really fun time on the first podcast, and gonna try to get closer to Fuego today.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that next level for you. I did want to just go ahead and knock them out right now. A couple follow-ups from our last episode. You had talked about, we talked about the Facebook dating girl, and she had a profile where she talked about her love and cum, and and her love for Dr. Seuss.
Right.
And you were like, oh yeah, Dr. Seuss, come here, come there, come everywhere. And I just was like, yeah, totally. And just breezed right by it. Totally missed your joke, and I feel bad. So I wanted to give you that credit.
That's like the best post-joke recognition that never happens.
Never,
almost a month ago, I feel like. It's a 1 month delay. I'd rather that than no applause at all.
Exactly.
But it made me feel better.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it tells you I'm a huge appreciator of comedy.
Right.
So didn't want to hurt your feelings there. Now, the other thing I wanted to follow up on was we talked kind of extensively, maybe is the word, about Uncut Gems.
Right,
and
right,
I said that I didn't like it, you really liked it, and I did rewatch it with somebody that hadn't seen it, and it was amazing. Everything that I had a problem with and didn't like the first time I watched it, they had a problem with. And the second time, for me, I loved it.
So you feel like you transmitted your problems to this person and you were absolved of all of your gems.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it, or it's just like you watch that movie the first time and it makes you mad. It was for some people. Maybe it's just for...
I've been told that it was stress-inducing of a movie, and I remember I was very, very high when I saw it. So like, I had no stress. I was living a good life, and I felt like, I don't know why, I'm a very ADD person. If I'm doing something on my phone, then I hear somebody listening, and like I'm always all over the place. Being able to sit in the theater, just baked as all hell, put your phone away, no one's distracting you, and just staring at a beautiful story in front of you, that's the best way to watch a movie. And that's what did it for me, was that for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I was just locked into this story, this universe. Incredible acting. I was just shocked every time Adam Sandler did anything that wasn't just pure comedy, because he's a pretty good actor when given the right chance.
Yes. And I enjoyed him a lot more. I hated him the first time I watched him, and my friend hated him as well. He was like, I can't stand him. He's so annoying. He's like the worst kind of guy there is. And the second time, I appreciated that so much more because I already knew that. So I was able to let go of the hate and enjoy it for what it is.
I went into it thinking that Kevin Garnett was going to be like a laughingstock, that he wasn't going to be serious whatsoever. And obviously some of the comedy is that he's not a real actor. He's not trained whatsoever. Did a pretty good job, I think.
He did a great job.
Right? But I think by far my favorite scene of the movie is when he goes into the open practice and he just starts stealing balls and goes, cookies! And then tries to do layups. I think that it's somewhat of a ridiculous movie, and I went back and watched other movies by the Safdie brothers. I'm just kind of an interested fan in terms of their style. They're really interested in the kinds of music that they put in the background, and it's stress-inducing is one way to put it, but it's a movie called Good Time is a really good one as well.
Okay. I think you talked... Maybe I've heard you talk about that before. When did that come out?
That was a couple years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, with Robert Pattinson, who I really only ever knew him from Twilight, and then there's one new one called The Lighthouse. That's one of the craziest, freaking weird movies you'll ever see in your life. Man fucks a fish, and don't have to get into length past that. But black and white, it was nominated for Best Cinematography, even though it was black and white. That shows how interesting it was.
Yeah. Okay. Does it? How do you get best cinematography in black and white?
By being this man named Robert Eggers is just a brilliant... I used to make this term up, but cinematographer. And you have to be just a really good eye to even be in this industry. And this man is just making... it's kind of like a bottle episode. They're just in this lighthouse, and they're going completely insane over the course of 2 hours, because there's no technology whatsoever in this movie. I think it was based in 1890s or 1900s, something like that.
Okay.
And they're just gradually losing their shit in a lighthouse. One guy is clearly in charge, and the other one's just some ranch hand out there. But both Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, like, career best performances. It's amazing.
In William Dafoe and Shameless?
No, that's William H. Macy.
William H.
They're just
Macy.
both ugly. They're ugly men.
They're ugly Williams. Yeah. I get them mixed up all the time.
Right.
I do need to go watch that movie in some way, shape, or form. I finally saw Parasite.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about that on the previous episode, and I agree with pretty much everything you said about it. You know, it was great story, characters, everything was cool. But you know, if it wasn't in Korean, it probably wouldn't have won Best Picture, and some other things to that effect. But I liked it more than I thought I would, and my expectations were way off. I guess I didn't really know what I was expecting. So whenever the movie started going, I was like, oh wow, like I was way off. And
I'm going to sound like a little bit of a hipster, but I saw it before it caught the popularity wave. It's not like I watched it because everyone was blowing up about it. Obviously, I only heard about it because it was on the Oscar buzz, you know. Everyone's saying, oh, Boon Jong-ho, I think is his name, or something like that. And you have to see this movie. Everyone's talking about it, but it hadn't really gotten mass popularity yet. So I watched it. I thought, okay, yeah, it's pretty good. Not my favorite. I think I made a list of all 40, 50 movies I watched this year, and it was like 19 or 20. So
really,
but I will say,
I'd be fascinated to know what the other 18 above it were.
I'm gonna sound like not a cinephile whatsoever, but I just love Marvel movies. It's just like my favorite kind. Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But putting a movie like Avengers: Infinity War or Spider-Man, not the Homecoming, but Far From Home, putting those above Parasite make me seem like the opposite of a former film student. But it's just how much I enjoy the movies.
Right. No,
Uncut
I
Gems
agree
was in
with
my
those.
top 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, other ones that aren't necessarily like, okay, you like the movie Good Boys?
Yeah, I loved it.
That's not a better movie than Parasite, but I just enjoyed watching it more.
Oh no, I agree everything with what you're saying. I would put Good Boys over Parasite, those other movies over Parasite, but I just didn't think I had 18 of them.
Right. Well, I did watch a ton of movies. I figured out how
in 2019?
Yes, in 2019 alone.
Because that's when that came out. Mm-hmm. Did Good Boys come out in 2019?
Yeah, it did, towards the beginning of the year.
And so did Booksmart.
Right, exactly.
And I
put Booksmart just a tiny bit lower. I did like Booksmart, but it felt like too corny, cheesy, in a good way. There was, I think Elizabeth Banks actually directed that.
Yes.
And then did you know this? The main girl, sorry everybody, but the fat one.
Wait, no, it's Olivia Wilde directed it.
That's who I meant, yeah. Same person.
Wife of Jason Sudeikis, who's briefly in the movie.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But I'm talking about the two young girls that are the stars. The heavier one, her name is Beanie Feldstein.
Okay.
Do you know that's Jonah Hill's sister?
No, I did not.
I didn't know that either.
Makes way more sense now.
In a way, I'm thinking like that could be like a young teenage female Jonah Hill, right? It is. It literally is.
And it makes way more sense that she would get that role because I've never heard of her or seen her before that movie.
She's apparently been in other things. Both of them are getting slightly more popular now. I mean, it's just like a breakout kind of role.
I've seen the other kid and stuff. I saw her in like kids movies or Home Improvement. Not Home Improvement. She's on Last Man Standing, the other Tim Allen show. Yeah.
Same thing. But no, I mean, I did like the movie. It did feel a little bit more girl centric, I guess. But I mean, obviously.
Girl centric.
Well, I mean, like, Superbad. Hilarious movie, but that's...
you're talking about Booksmart, right? I'm thinking Parasite again, sorry.
Yeah, Parasite was too girl-centric for me. That one girl. But, no, I did like Parasite, and I do feel like it was revolutionary for the Academy to make that kind of choice, but it did feel calculated. It made me feel like, yes, they're trying to make it in this year, because, like, there's so many other things in the world going on right now that they needed a win in terms of diversity. They needed a win in terms of what's the best movie that's not... another movie about war or another movie about heartbreak or blah blah blah. They were going to talk about class, income, inequality, and I mean it was a very interesting concept, and I think visually very well done, directed really really well. Have you seen the other movie that Boon Jong-ho made? It's called Snowpiercer. Yeah, they're going to make that into a TV show now.
Looks like ass, dude. I watched that movie, and because that show's going to be on TNT. Mm-hmm. A TNT original series? Yeah. How much faith do you have in that?
Shaq's going to star in it.
I hope so. I'd watch it then. But, yeah, the movie, I watched it not too long ago, actually, because he acts and directs in that movie, doesn't he? Or, no, he just directs it, and the main guy from Parasite is in the movie.
Yes, yeah.
That's it? Yeah. So, I've seen it, and it was interesting, too. Same concept. Mm-hmm. The class system is a big factor in that movie. But, I don't know, it just got too weird for me.
That's the kind of movies that I respect. The weird to a certain extent that I can't even imagine. Like, if I'm going to make a movie, I want to make it the right amount of weird that it's my personal opinion, my personal voice, but it's also marketable enough for people to still watch, right? That's why I love and respect all these auteurs that just really know how to make something so specifically weird in their own image that it's like you got to respect that, even if it's not commercially successful. Like a lot of horror movies these days, I don't necessarily like them, but you got to respect the fact that they're so intrinsically weird in that fashion.
Yeah, I think it just really lost me at the end, especially like the train blowing up. You've seen the whole movie, right?
About 5 or 6 years ago, but yes.
Okay. So it gets to the point where like Chris Evans wants to get to the front and talk to the conductor, the main guy, and the Asian dude wants to basically blow up the door and try to survive on the outside world because he believes the world's heating up a little bit and it's survivable. But his bomb to blow open the door literally derails and destroys the entire train and basically kills everybody, including himself. Mm-hmm. So just to me, none of that made any sense. Like, why not? Why was that bomb so massive? Like, he had to have known what he was doing. Why did he use so much?
That might have been such a visually stunning scene that they couldn't cut. Another thing that I had heard, this is when you go deep dive into real cinema, he tried to get that movie produced through Harvey Weinstein, and Weinstein had nothing positive to say about it. He said, I'm going to cut half of your shit that's in this movie. I don't like what I'm seeing, and no one's going to see this. No one's going to like this. So then Bong Joon-ho says, I'm so sorry, I'm going to cut all these scenes, I'm going to do all this, and I'm going to make it marketable for you. And then specifically ignored him as a producer and just did whatever he wanted the whole way through. He lost a lot of the money that was going to be into promoting the movie, but then was able to make it the way that he wanted. So whatever his style is, that's just what he came up with. He actually also lied to Weinstein about certain scenes in the movie. He would say, oh, it's specific to my family, it's catering to my family tradition, blah, blah, blah. And he was just lying the whole time to make the movie how he wanted and get as much money as possible. Because fuck the rich.
That's like the whole point of this movie, too.
Yeah.
So, but he's rich
by making fun of rich people. Like it's a complicated life we live, but
and it was a very interesting film. Definitely glad I watched it and I enjoyed it. But yeah, the ending kind of made me mad when the whole train blows up and then like all that survives is like his daughter and the little black boy from that underneath that was like pushing the coal, and they walk out and they like see a polar bear and the movie ends and I'm like, I don't know. Is that implying that they could kill that polar bear? Maybe. Doubt it. Like, what's going to happen? How are they really going to live now that the entire train's destroyed? But whatever. I don't know.
It's been too long for me since I've seen that movie to really give a thought out opinion on it. But I've heard that they're going to make a Snowpiercer show as well as a Parasite show with Mark Ruffalo. Like, I don't think that's the wisest idea.
He's in the Snowpiercer show.
No, he's going to be in the Parasite show. They're going to come up with an HBO Parasite show. But all white actors, of course, because it has to be successful. It's a little bit frustrating that we, as an academy, I'm pretending I'm a part of the academy here.
Of course.
We, as the academy, have to give all the diversity in the world. We have to be all so happy that we have all these movies coming out that we can appreciate them, but then we have to whitewash them and remake them and make them even more appealing and more marketable. We have to get rid of the original intentions and then put in the star-studded cast that we like to see.
Right.
Not a fan. Boo Hollywood. And I like the fact that these delays are happening now because we're going to see the destruction of the Hollywood elite and we're going to have more at-home viewing. I think that's going to be a thing. There's going to be more direct to at-home movies and stuff like that. I still love the theater-going experiences, but I think companies like Netflix are taking over the game, the production game, and it's going to be revolutionized. Or no massive producers like Warner Bros. And Fox Studios, it's not going to be the same kind of structured dynamic anymore.
Right. And you think those kind of people are like ruining the integrity of movies? Is that what you're saying? Like some of these big corporations?
Yeah. So, funny story, I used to be a film major. I went to UT San Antonio with the anticipation of going to UT Austin to go to the radio, television, film program. I qualified to go and transfer, but I started reading all about the way that the structure of Hollywood works and that you have to rewrite thousands of times, and then by the time you get to the end, it's not the same movie. It's so far away from what your original intention was that you're not making a movie for you, you're making it for the people that are going to give you money, and that's the definition of selling out.
Right.
So maybe I read something that was too skewed towards the elitist viewpoint, but I remember specifically losing my passion for film the more that you learn about it as a business as opposed to art. I love art and I love being creative, but I would hate to sell my art to survive,
Right.
Like, it's hard to say, but
no, I get it.
So in the meantime, I'm thinking I love the idea. I actually gave one time a 20-minute speech in philosophy class to just my classmates about how writing is the most important part of all film and how visual storytelling is kind of slowly degrading the art of film, because the more visual effects that you have, like a movie like Avatar, try to describe Avatar without it being looking awesome, or those giant blue people, or Dances with Wolves with different colored people, you know? So it's like, yes, visual, it's an incredible thing to see in person, but it's also takes away from the actual storyline. Like every Transformers movie or every Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah. What about space movies?
I like space movies.
Okay. And then I was going to say, somebody was telling me the other day, I didn't know if you could back this up or not. Is Netflix severely in debt because they've produced so much? They've spent so much money to produce these great shows and shit like that they're technically in debt?
In a way, I believe that's technically possible. I think that they can be in debt and still be having a humongous budget. They're not going to cut anything anytime soon because they make too much money. But I think you've seen them multiple times try to recoup that amount of money by increasing the fees or cracking down and saying, oh, you can't give your grandma, your sister, your cousin's brother's uncle, whatever, everyone the password to your account. So they have to try to make it more of a profitable business because there's so much content that not all of it's going to be watched.
Right.
Now, I would think that Netflix stock is higher than ever right now with everyone quarantined, but then again, it's families all quarantined together. They're not individually paying for accounts. So in a way, I don't know if they're necessarily in debt, but I think that they're less profitable than you would assume.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. God, I wish I remember more details of what he said, but he was just like, between the amount of shows and movies they're making, the fact that they're trying to get big stars in these, shows and movies, that because of that they're in debt. But I can't remember some of the other fun facts.
If they're in debt, it's because of one thing and one thing only. It's Tall Girl. Have you seen that? Mm-mm. Oh my God. I'm really 99% sure this is on Netflix, but it's a girl that's tall, and that's the whole premise. That's the show. She's walking around high school. She's tall.
Show or movie?
Show. I think it's like a show, miniseries, whatever, but she's like, God, I'm so tall, and everybody makes fun of me for being like, oh, look, there's this giraffe girl. Like, oh, well, what's up, long neck? And life is so hard. I'm white, so this is my hardest struggle.
I love it. I'm trying to look it up right now to see if I can add it to my list.
Yeah, it's just called Tall Girl.
It's a Netflix original. No, it's a movie.
Oh, it is? Okay. I didn't know.
Hour 41 comedy, terrible ratings.
But one thing for sure, that girl is tall.
No doubt. The second to this dude right here, the second dude on here, he's in Big Time Adolescence. That's a Hulu original movie with Pete Davidson and MGK. And
I've heard about that. I watched the behind the scenes of that movie, but I didn't actually watch the movie.
Watch the movie. It's pretty decent.
I do like Pete Davidson. I think he's a really funny comedian in an unconventional way.
Yes.
And I like his style of comedy. So.
I do too. Yeah, I don't know what it is. For some reason, I like him a lot. And I've been, for some reason, growing on MGK, and that pisses Reagan off. I don't know why. Why I like him. I get why Reagan's pissed off. But anyway,
I only know him because he lost the beef with Eminem. That's the only thing I know about him.
Yeah, he had like a career before that, and now he's, I feel like, trending in a better direction after that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about his career that much because then Reagan won't post the episode. But we saw that movie during this quarantine. If you're able to watch it, I definitely would.
Okay.
Like, it's a short movie. It's pretty funny. It's got some serious parts, but yeah, overall, it's a pretty interesting movie.
Okay.
And it's very relatable. Like, it's got like situations that either have happened to you or you definitely know people that have gone through what's happening. So yeah, check that out. Anything else you've been consuming that's of note?
Yeah, so I have actually been working pretty much full time during this quarantine, so I haven't had a lot of time to just sit down and kind of absorb everything. But I do have a few shout outs for by far the best shows I've been watching. I don't know if you like the rapper Lil Dicky. Lil Dicky.
I do. Did you watch his show?
It's my favorite show that I have on now. It's hilarious, and I literally paid for Hulu to watch this show. Like, it's,
wow.
I don't pay for things. I don't pay for content. Arrest me if you hear this, but I paid for Dave. Like, that's a great show.
Okay.
And
I'll have to check it out.
I tweeted that. I said, I love Dave. Lil Dicky's hilarious, blah, blah, blah. He retweeted me. Lil Dicky retweeted me upon hearing my compliment. So that earned my validation for the show.
Wow.
If every TV show could do that, I would just be constantly tweeting good reviews.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's on the level of he's so mildly famous, but he's still technically famous. And I think he's riding that wave of the perfect amount of fame right now. And every episode has some different guest stars or some hilarious storyline that's somewhat true. And he realizes that it's on FX. It's not like it's the most popular show in the world.
But it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu through FX.
Through
so
FX, yeah. He
can just do whatever. There's a whole episode about him fucking a fake butt. That's like the plot of the episode.
That sounds good.
Is like I don't want to ruin it too much, but he's having sexual issues with his girlfriend because he's got an inverted dick.
Right.
Right? So, like, he's never let her see it in light. That's like the plot. This is the third episode of the series. Okay?
Yeah.
The first one's like, I'm trying to be a rapper. Second one's like, my career's taken off. Third one is like, my sexual perversion has reached new limits and I now I fuck fake butts. And then the girlfriend finds the fake butt. It gets real weird.
Okay.
So check it out. Like, that's the most insane shit I've ever seen.
How many episodes have released?
I think as of 2 days ago, there's 8 episodes. So there's going to be 10 this season. But people like Justin Bieber show up, and in the first episode, there's YG, a lot of rappers. There's Trippie Redd. For some reason, Kourtney Kardashian shows up. So there's a lot of big people that show up in the show because he's friends with all of them in real life.
I'm impressed by that, too. The fact that he's friends with all of them.
But my favorite part of the show is he has to do his first live performance, and he's never performed live to anybody in his life. He just does private YouTube shows. He gets humongous. And then he meets a kid because he's meeting his girlfriend, and she was a teacher. And this girl said, hey, these parents would love to meet you. And apparently their kid died. It's like a 7-year-old died. And they asked him to perform at the funeral. And they're like, well, yeah, but his name is Lil Dicky, and he's a rapper that makes... His song is called My Dick Sucks, right? Like, this is not good music, but it's funny, right?
Right.
So they don't listen to the music at all. They're like, hey, he loved you. Would you perform at his funeral? And he said, sure. And it's his first live performance ever. So the whole episode is him trying to be on brand, break out rapping, show that he's a talented white rapper, but not be like, hey, I'm like the corny white rapper, but also cater to a children's funeral. And it's the saddest, weirdest shit you've ever seen in your life. It's hilarious. But I'll leave it at that. Like, that's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I'm going to start watching it.
That and Better Call Saul. I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, but Better Call Saul has taken new heights. Not past Breaking Bad levels, but it's a top 5 show out right now. It's amazing.
And it's a spinoff?
In a way, it's a prequel spinoff. So, in Breaking Bad, his name is Saul Goodman. In Better Call Saul, his name is Jimmy McGill, and he's a disgraced lawyer that is literally running his entire operation out of the back of, like, a rub and tug Asian nail parlor.
Nice.
So, because he can't afford an office, so he just buys the back room, does his law, and he's a hilarious guy that just cons people out of their money. But for 5 or 6 seasons, it's him gradually losing his morality. He's trying to be an honest, hardworking lawyer, but then he gets disbarred, and he meets all these people that kind of get him to be major profitable, and then he starts losing his conscience as the show goes on. So I think it's super cool because it shows where he's going to go in Breaking Bad, but it's the descent into madness that is my favorite aspect. And
Sounds fascinating.
Visually the best show on TV.
Visually? Why?
Yeah. Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould are the director and writer, and they're just really incredible cinematography. It's hard to say it, but I watched a 20-minute video today just talking about visual storytelling and the art of montages and how you don't have to have dialogue to tell a story.
Right.
So, great acting, great dialogue, but most of its work is done with just camera work.
Interesting.
It's
Now,
super cool.
Is that show on Hulu as well?
It's on Netflix, but every season up until now. They're currently on 5. I think
So,
Monday's the season finale, and then...
Where does it air?
It's on, I think, AMC. It's going to be on AMC. So, what I've been doing is signing up for free trials with emails and then going on incognito mode and then being like, I forgot my password, but can I watch the rest of the episode? I did that like 3 or 4 times, and I just get to watch everything for free.
It seems like so much work, though. Are you
Not
watching
really.
it all on your phone?
Yeah, at work. I've been going to work getting paid, and then if I'm ever in the car, like we drive a lot to other different locations, I'm just in the car for like 30, 40 minutes, I'm just watching Better Call Saul.
With headphones?
No, not even sometimes. Like, I don't give a shit at all. Like, if this is what I'm doing. So...
And they don't care?
No one cares.
Okay.
Quarantine life, no one gives a shit about anything. They're all concerned with, like, the national media and what's going on with my life and my family, and I'm just watching Better Call Saul.
I feel you. I've been trying to get more into shows. I definitely prefer movies. I watched a ton. But I started watching Schitt's Creek.
I haven't seen that yet.
Mad decent. Kind of corny, but it's cute. Made it through almost 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Watched a ton of SpongeBob. I've watched all of season 7. So I watch it at night when I go to bed. So I normally make it through. Each disc is like 3 hours. So it normally takes me about a week to get through a disc. So just because I'm watching it at night when I go to bed.
I really thought you were going to say the opposite. Like, it's about 3 hours, so I'm watching like 7 discs a week.
Oh God, no. I'm definitely, like I said, I just watch it at night when I get home because like if I'm like awake and I'm staying up and I want to do something, I'm going to watch something I like, a good movie or show that I haven't seen before.
Sure.
But like when I'm tired and I don't feel like watching anything, I'll normally put on SpongeBob.
A low effort show.
Exactly. And I'll end up watching like 3 episodes, which is like 45 minutes. And so then I'll pick back up the next night. Like, I'll just let it run.
The effect that SpongeBob has had on our generation of people between like 20 and 30 years old right now is unprecedented. Yeah. Any show that we watched in the day, mostly forgettable, really. Like, there's a couple shows that stuck with us, but SpongeBob is like the childhood show that really affected us.
Because to me, it's like South Park, Family Guy, and Simpsons in a way. Like, it just has that legacy that's lived on. And memes have really done a lot of that. Because for some reason, it's the most memeable show
out there, for sure.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, why, though?
I don't know. It's just, it was iconic, and it's something that, I don't know, there's
the
this
characters
one
are funny.
Yeah, the voice acting's pretty good, but kind of like I was saying, like the certain amount of weirdness that makes something not cringy, but like impressively weird.
Right.
You know, that's what I respected, the creativity behind those characters, because yeah, it's literally a talking sponge and a starfish and a squirrel that's wearing a suit and a frugal crab, you know, so
Who
it's
has
just
a daughter that's a whale.
Yeah, that's not his child. I can tell you that right now. I think that there's a lot of fan theories about whose child it might be.
See, that's another thing. I had a friend tell me that I should do like a SpongeBob fan podcast or a limited series on the Decent Show, something where we go in depth on SpongeBob lore, SpongeBob plots, fan theories, my theories, because I've got a few. Won't bother with you now, but
I remember at one point we were in a work group chat and somebody disrespected SpongeBob. And it's this guy that's been around for like 5 or 6 years. And he just had nothing good to say about SpongeBob. We're all having a good time just talking about nothing. And this man right here stood up like it was his own TV show. He had every defense possible, just talking about how it's the greatest show, the most memeable show. Started giving out life lessons to be learned from it. I was impressed by your structural integrity for SpongeBob as a show.
Yeah.
And as a concept. It's just a good idea.
It pissed me off how quick everybody messaged because like I was trying to do something, but I was like, this is important.
I was driving and I almost pulled over.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I was doing the same thing. And so I was like, I got to type this novel about my SpongeBob knowledge.
Because his hate was so unfounded. It's not like he was like, oh, I had this show on and I had this bad life event happen and it gave me bad memories. He was like, yeah, I think it's dumb that there's a yellow sponge that talks. Like, okay, well, you're a hater.
He lives on a pineapple.
And that's why no one likes you. So.
Right. Well, speaking of that same person, I wanted to give him a quick shout out because I figured you would appreciate this.
Sure.
You're probably the only person that would, but whenever we had to do the 10 things to get to know you, he, like, favorite movie of all time, or favorite movie of all time, he put anything from the 80s, Rocky, Godfather, Police Academy, and I just wanted to be like, 80s. I was like, dude, I think Police Academy technically was, but I was like,
that's a 9-movie series.
Exactly, and I wanted to message so badly and be like, hey, 2 of those movies are definitely from the 70s.
Godfather is 1972.
72 and 74 for the first 2. The third one doesn't count, and I think they made it in the 90s, so he could not have been more wrong. And I wanted to say that so badly, but I was like, I'd be the only jackass that cares.
I love when people confidently talk about things they have no idea. And that's the kind of guy who argues sports without watching tape whatsoever. He'll just be like, oh, that guy's trash. And then he goes and plays and doesn't know how to shoot a basketball.
He's the worst human being that exists.
That's one way to put it, but yeah.
Or he's up there. Because, like, whenever we were shooting basketball one time, he wasn't playing at the time. He was, like, sitting on the side talking to whoever. And, like, you know, we're all shooting, and he's like, man, all I hear is bricks out there. Brick, 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 brick.
Right.
And, like, all of us were shooting NBA threes. And none of us are really that good.
Right.
So, yes, they were bricks. And he's coming out there shooting mid-rangers, missed every single one. I started counting out loud. I was like, 1, 2. Every time he bricked, I would say the next number. And, like, I think it really pissed him off. But I mean, we were at least shooting threes, but who does that? Like,
I don't know. He's probably the best janitor that I know, honestly.
Dude, every time I watch an old Rockets game on TV and I see him, I'm just like, I literally, whoever I'm watching with, I'm like, I hate that guy. Like, and they're like, really? I'm like, no, I don't, but like,
it
he's
took
really
him
annoying.
6 years to get to be a court sweeper.
Oh, yeah. All right, we shouldn't say too much more. I mean, we've already said it all, but... Yeah, so that made me laugh. Other things I've been consuming, watched Vice again the other day. Christian Bale.
Yep.
Sam
I was thinking
Rockwell.
about Inherent Vice as a different movie, but both good actually.
I haven't seen Inherent Vice.
That one is Paul Thomas Anderson and Joaquin Phoenix.
I love both of those.
Yeah, no.
When did it come out?
Probably 2013, 2014. It was when he's like an investigator and he's definitely crazy, kind of a zany person, just like Joaquin Phoenix is. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've seen The Master.
Josh Brolin too. No, it's on my Netflix watch
Okay,
list.
so The Master is
that's
one of the
also
more
Joaquin
fucked up
Paul
movies.
Thomas Anderson.
Exactly, that combo they mastered it. They figured out how to make it work. And Joaquin is such a talented actor that he's never the same person in any two movies.
Okay.
You literally wouldn't know what he's like in life, in real life, if you didn't watch these movies, because you just don't know who he's going to present himself as.
Okay.
But Inherent Vice, good. Not my favorite movie of his, but Vice, I did actually like that movie a lot. Got very bad reviews at times, just because it's too political, and I respected the fact that they had a very clearly left-centric movie that I really liked the fact that they were kind of telling it in their eyes. You know?
Right. I mean,
It's also
honestly,
fuck Dick Cheney.
well, yeah, that, and it made me like lose my faith in politics. Like left, right, then party. I don't know. Like
I lost my faith in politics when I was 18, and I took Intro to American Politics,
Yeah,
and that's
there you
just
go.
when I realized this is all just a game. This is such a lie.
Yeah, exactly. Watched Shot Caller last night. Very unimpressed.
Haven't seen that.
Underwhelming movie. Don't watch it. Watched Talented Mr. Ripley with Matt Damon.
Good movie, yeah. And Jude
That
Law.
was fascinating movie. Little slow, but like I don't know what it is. I'm a closet Matt Damon fan, and he's
Dude, I'm openly Matt Damon fan.
okay. Fine, I'm an
Yeah.
open Matt Damon fan, but
I'm a flaming Matt Damon fan.
he's to me he's like the same and yet so different in every movie he's in. Like
He's like your dad. Like he's just the older he gets, he's like I feel like he's my dad.
Okay, he's got to be
At
your
the time, he was like a cousin, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so since 2005, 2006, post-Born movies,
Right.
that's my dad.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I like his recent movies. I'm liking his
We
older
Bought a
movies
Zoo?
more. Yeah,
Remember We Bought a Zoo?
Didn't watch that.
Didn't
shit.
watch that one either, but I just
No.
love that concept, you know.
Why?
He and Scarlett Johansson buy a zoo.
Yeah.
And that's the whole movie. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, why? But I don't want to watch it.
I don't want to watch it either, but I think that's so funny.
And then I watched Ad Astra. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't really like that one as much. I actually had that on my desktop for about 7 months, just ready to watch it any moment. And I kept looking at it like, I just don't really want to watch it. And then I did, and I was not happy that I did. So,
Really? See, I guess I have very low expectations for it, and so I was impressed. I liked it. A decent amount. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's decent. You know, it was good. I watched, last movie I'll talk about because otherwise I'll go on forever. I did watch Snowpiercer. We already talked about that, though. It was Or it was good, but it's not my kind of movie. Taxi Driver. I watched Taxi Driver with De Niro and Scorsese.
I haven't seen that since I was 15.
Don't go back and rewatch it, but I've been on a Scorsese and De Niro kick, and so I've been like watching their movies, and I've got a few more on my list I need to wrap up. But that movie definitely like felt like The Joker. I feel like The Joker.
Oh, that's almost a direct
copy.
Not necessarily copy,
very
but
similar.
it's where you get the inspiration behind it. Just a common man in society losing his sanity, and I felt like, ironically, another Scorsese De Niro movie, The King of Comedy. Have you seen that?
Right, I need to. It's on my
That's the
list.
one that makes me. I think they literally chose De Niro for the Joker because he played that character on The King of Comedy. Because that's literally a guy going on, being on a talk show, and then losing his shit because he's not famous.
Dang it, dude! I gotta write all this down. What other movie did we talk about earlier that I need to write down? Is it King of Comedy?
Tall girl.
King of Comedy? No, not Tall Girl. God, dude, we just talked about it. And I was like, we need to write that down.
Well, okay.
Oh, well.
While we're talking about content, Dave was the TV
Dave,
show.
I need to watch Dave.
While we're talking about content in an unconventional sense, I have been reading more books. That's the one thing about quarantine that really I feel like has changed me.
Right.
Like an hour a day, I've just been dedicating to books, and I
Right.
feel so much more focused, so much more driven, and I feel like more creative as well because I'm not watching something passively, and sometimes I'm distracted looking at my phone. I'm like locking into one thing at a time. And there's this one author, I feel like we may have touched on him, but Hunter S. Thompson,
Right.
Brilliant writer, and this man was on drugs for probably like 47 years of his life, constantly. Not even like, hey, I'm going to do drugs this weekend. It's like every minute of every day, going to dinner parties, just giving people drugs without telling them, and he's like shooting off firearms into the middle of the air in front of cops, and the cops are like, oh, that's just that guy. Like crazy ass dude. I read his life biography and his most popular book, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I read 600 pages in like a week and a half, and that, for me, that's
a
more
lot.
than I've read in like a year. So
Right.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Great author, and I recommend reading. I don't know if you ever tried it.
I've read. Yes, thank you. But I've also been pondering reading lately. I haven't actually started reading, but it's definitely something I've been thinking about because I have a lot of books to read, a lot of time, and I'm not doing it, so I need to. Because I know it'd probably be for the best.
Right.
Keep the mind sharp.
But yeah, dude, quarantine's been weird. I can't say that I've been truly quarantining. I've been going to work and then coming home, and then I don't know, my general life philosophy is I kind of want to get into some shenanigans, but I also want to get some shit done.
I was going to ask you about the shenanigans. So
dude.
You're not respecting the quarantine, and for you to get into shenanigans... Oh, you are, but you're not.
No, I'm not.
You're right. And so for you to get involved in shenanigans, doesn't that mean you have to have other people not...
I found a loophole, okay?
Participating?
So let me just paint this picture for you. I live where we are right now filming this. I'm in a very shitty apartment complex,
We're not
right?
filming.
I mean, recording, but I've been filming you this whole time, actually.
Oh.
So it's from the bathroom cam.
Yeah.
But so I live in a less than stellar apartment complex that is surrounded by strip clubs and I guess gentlemen clubs are the same thing, but hookah bars and just really bad Indian restaurants. This is not a great area to be in, but this complex in particular has a really fancy front office and a really fancy, I don't know, like lounge area, I guess. Everything else, just shit. Pure shit, not a good place to live. They pay you to live here.
Right.
So the one thing that sold... No, they don't. It's a lot of money. But when I had the tour, I had this really cute girl give me a tour. And I was like, yeah, I've already decided I'm going to live here. Like, this girl's really fine, right? But I hate to be that obviously male horny of a person, but...
That's what they're banking on.
Dude, that's why they put such cute girls in the front office, is because they know that all you have to do is hang out with them for 10 minutes, and then they're going to offer you something like, oh, do you want a free Dr. Pepper and some cookies? Yep, all right, I'll give you all my money for a year straight. So... To preface this story, really cute girl in my front office. We flirt here and there, but I've always had the mindset that she's just being nice for her job. That's what she does. And also, she's like so out of my league, I'm not even considering this a realistic thing, right?
What makes her out of your league?
She's like a fitness chick, and she's like super skinny, could be like a model kind of girl, just blonde, perfect every feature.
Who says you can't do any of that?
I'm being a realistic, like if fucking Kate Upton walked down the street, I wouldn't be like, hey, I wonder what my chances are. I'd be like...
No. But
so,
she's not Kate Upton.
She's like... I don't even get too exaggerated, but this is a very attractive girl. So, be careful. It's coronavirus. Don't cough. But...
you might catch it by listening.
Yeah, one of the two of us might cough, the other one. So at this point, it's a pretty terrible complex I'm living in, but there's free coffee in my front office. So I go there every single day. I abuse the shit out of it. I get a free coffee every single day. Mostly because I'm a caffeine addict, but also because that girl's in the front office, and I go drop like a low-key flirt every day. Every day. Like, it's unprecedented levels of, like, consistency.
Jeez.
So, but it's never too obvious. I don't want it to be like, if I leave the room, they're all going to talk about it. I just want to, like, drop a subtle hint here and there. So, I moved here in September, and then around January, this girl's like, so, hey, what do you do for a living? And she's, like, asking me questions. I'm like, great, okay. So at this point, I still haven't tried. I've never really made an effort to hang out with her or anything.
Well, I think she was giving you that trial run, and she was like, okay, this is a nice guy. He's not creepy.
Right. That's the you got to play the long game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because she sees creeps every day.
Every day,
and she's waiting for you to be a creep, and you've been not a creep long enough.
Right. That's my exact MO here. Don't be too much of a creep. You know, they smell it.
Right.
But that sounded weird to say. But so around this certain point, she asked me what my job is, and she asked me all these different questions. I'm like, okay, I can feel that she's actually interested. Another thing is she just moved into the complex. So I don't think you get free rent, but you get to move into the complex. So she has a super tiny dog. I've got a super tiny dog. They like each other. That's one in that I already have.
Is this the same girl that asked you if you lick your dog?
No. I'm glad you mentioned it. Okay. But separate girl, but that the other girl was in the room. So as second as this girl literally said, do you lick your dog? And I was like, I've never had that thought because that's pretty gross, right? But in reality, I said, nope, I don't think that's what happened. So I just leave it as an awkward conversation. But I look at the cute girl, I'm like, that was crazy. And months later, I can confirm they immediately were like, wow, what a fucking weird thing to say out loud. Like, it was just, they were so embarrassed that they brought that up to one of the residents that it's now a running joke.
Good.
So
that's good.
I'm glad. Thank you for bringing it up. That's like a deep dive into into this
I
universe.
just listened to our episode.
So Basically, she asked me like what I do for a living, and like I'm just basically getting to know her. And at one point she goes, "Do you like to go running?" I was like, "I do, right?" She goes, "Well, let's go running sometime." I was like, "Yes, absolutely." So I had her number, but I realized it was just the front office phone. I didn't actually have her number. And I'm like, okay, shit.
So that's why she's not answering your
right,
text.
she's not answering my... No, I didn't text it.
It's a joke.
But it would explain a lot, right? So now, at this point, I go in there for actual business. I'm trying to talk to her and everything. She's sending me emails, like, every day. Like, not, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? But, hey, we had this promotion or we have this activity. But these are not community-wide emails. These are direct to me. She's emailing me specifically. Like, okay, cool. Things are going good. I can tell that she's trying to communicate, right? But then, of all things, the coronavirus happens and they close the front office. So I can't go in there. That's my only place I ever get to talk to her. So now I am sad because I don't know what to do. I don't have free coffee. I don't have free QQ. Right. And I'm just trying to figure out what's my move. I don't know where in the complex she lives, but that'd be real weird to try to wander around and try to figure out. And how much creepier would it be to email her back and be like, hey, what's your number? We should hang out. You can't. That's a Me Too waiting to happen, right?
Yeah, well, maybe not, but like, I don't know. I mean, you could be ballsy enough to email and be like, hey, like, I'm still down to go running 6 feet apart. LOL. What's your number?
I figured she'd be in the company of other employees. That would be kind of embarrassing for both of us. So I decided
because it's her company email.
It's her company email. She only sees it in the work computer.
Right. Then don't do that.
So, and if I ever called, anybody else might pick up either. I'd be like, hey, is that girl there? So then I'm just walking around the complex, walking my dog. I run into her. I'm like, oh, perfect, right? She's like, yeah, I've been trying to exercise, but the gym is closed here. So I actually stole all the equipment from the gym. This is her talking. So I was like, cool.
You bumped into her and she told you this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on that level already. Like we'll tell each other about crimes we're committing. So
so
she's stealing all these weights and these exercise balls and stuff. And then she's like, I can like bring them to your apartment or whatever. And I said, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, go ahead. Come to my apartment. And she brings a 50-pound weight. She dragged it all the way from the gym's on the second floor. She drags it downstairs across the complex, brings it to my door, and I was like, "That no girl just does that because they're like trying to be nice and get some satisfaction out of their clients." So I think there's some interest there, right?
Why a 50-pound weight?
I asked for a 50-pound weight before I realized she's gonna have to bring it. I was thinking I could go to it, right? And I'm also trying to impress this girl, telling her I'm using a 50-pound weight when I'm clearly not. So
I feel like she has to know. If she works out at all, she has to know you're bullshitting.
Right.
What are you doing with one 50-pound weight?
Oh, dude, you don't even want to know. But so just my right arm is jacked, if you know what I mean. So
cute.
So then I'm like, okay, that's interest. But then she leaves. She drops it off and leaves. So I didn't even get a chance to be like, oh, hey, by the way, I have all these questions. Because another thing, I was also against my company policy or community policy housing dogs. You're not supposed to house dogs here. So I opened the door like, hey, what's going on?
But other people have dogs here?
I mean, I pay for my one dog because he's technically emotional support when he's not.
Right.
So, but I had
other
dogs here. Yeah. So, because I run like for business, so I just have dogs here. And I was trying to like not let her see that I had the dogs, but also bring a 50-pound weight in the door. And I had people here. It was just a real awkward situation. So again, I missed my chance. And I'm like, well, fuck. So then I walk around with my dog again. I run into her. I'm like, okay, this is like a lot of good chances. I'm definitely wasting it.
What if she's stalking you?
I'll get there because I think that you're on the right track here, okay? So, because that word does come up later in the story. But, so then I'm actually not looking for her by any means, but I'm walking my dog late at night and I hear, Kirby! And I'm like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. I don't know what I did, but it's her. And she spots me from across the complex as if she was almost looking for me, right? So then...
If not, you're across the complex and she's willing to yell at you.
She's willing to bring a 50-pound weight across the complex. She's also willing to sprint across at nighttime, like, to come see me. So, at this point, like, sky-high confidence. Like, nothing has cemented whatsoever, but I'm also like, she's about it, right?
Right.
So then, she's like, hey, I just realized, like, we never worked out. And I was like, yeah, we should do that. And I said, hey, I called the number that I had. It's just the office number, so what's your actual number? She's like, oh, here you go. Boom. Like, I'm so happy right now. This is like a 6-month play. This has been taking all this long.
Takes a while, yeah.
Whew. So then we do end up working out, okay? She convinced me to go do, like, CrossFit or some shit. I was not about that. And it was me and 2 other guys. I didn't know the guys, but it was just a way to talk to her. Like, they're working out seriously. I'm just trying to talk to her, get to know her. Really chill chick, right? So she's a little... I also found out she newly had become single after 7 years, which sounds like a red flag, but I think about opportunities, not consequences.
Right.
So if she's newly single after 7 years, I think she broke up with him like 2 months ago from today. So that's wild.
And you've been working on her for 6 months.
Yeah.
So you think out of nowhere she gets interested because she was recently single.
That's
You're basically hitting on her for 4 months while she's in a relationship.
Right. So
then 2 months.
2 months of like actual tactical strategy here. So,
Mm.
and by the way, I'm not like plotting. I'm not like going home and like, oh, today I'm gonna hang out.
Well, why are all her pictures on your wall?
I mean, hey, I thought I took them all down. Okay, so
why do you have this map?
it's not like I have a geological tracker of any
Yeah,
kind,
I was gonna say,
but
is this her schedule?
yeah, it is. Yeah, I cross-referenced her email actually. So we work out, things are good. I found out she's newly single because
Had quarantine already happened?
This is the middle of quarantine. We're going to the park to work out, like in public, so things are good. But I found out a lot about her. Found out she's down with like a lot of my general buffoonery kind of stuff. She used to work at a bar for a long time. I also didn't know how old she was the whole time. So I'm 23, she's 27. I think that's still okay. That's with it, right? Thank you for saying that. Yeah. So, because normally I'd say out of my league, newly single, that far up in age, there's a lot of red flags. Not even red flags, but like caution markers.
Caution markers.
So
you got to worry about, she's probably ready for if she wants to have.
Right. Cool. So then, so basically, she invites me over right as we're done working out, and I'm like, I want to be a dick, but I said no.
Why?
Because another weird factor here. She had a guy living on her couch because it's her gay best friend, but he got laid off from the virus. He doesn't have a place to stay. He doesn't have any money. Let him stay on the couch. I think that's like cool of her, but it'd be real awkward to like go into an apartment and like, hey dude, do you mind staying out here on the couch? Because like we're gonna go in there. Like that's weird to me.
You have a place. Invite her to your place.
Her place is 12 times nicer than mine. Like mine is the least you could possibly deck out an apartment is mine.
Yeah.
And then hers is like the gourmet apartment. Like that's a beautiful apartment.
But define the hanging out that you're going to be doing.
She just wanted me to have some tacos. It's like midnight. She wants to eat some tacos. No drinks involved. Nothing scandalous.
How do you know you didn't go?
True. But I decided, you know what?
And you didn't invite her to your place.
Because there's the guy involved. Like he was making the dinner. I think it would have been a friend hangout. So
no, okay, you probably did the right thing.
Right.
Sorry.
I also low key psychologically was like, say no, and then see what she says, right? Because that's just the way you got him on the hook. Wait to reel it in a little bit, right?
That's true. I get eager.
Right.
I get eager.
But make sure you got the right bait on there.
Oh, I'm a gun jumper. I'll pull that hook, take the bait right out of their mouth.
I will say the story gets rapidly moving fast compared to the way it had been. This is all within a matter of days now. This is a 6-month play. Now this is all within the current week that we're talking about.
Okay.
So
I deny the tacos.
I deny the tacos, and then we keep making plans to work out, whatever. And it just like future times, and it just never really cemented, never happened, never worked out. And then she goes, "Hey, I mean, if you ever want coffee, like I'll deliver it to your door for you." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, fuck yeah." So then she runs into me and goes, "Hey, I've been meaning to tell you, whenever you were talking to my friend, the gay friend, he apparently got really excited when you were telling. We were just telling like drug stories, and he's like, "Yeah, I used to do shrooms all the time. I used to do acid." He was trying to impress me, and then the guy just started doing drugs again. And I don't want to feel like I was the reason for that. He told me it was because of the virus, and he's got nothing else to do, and it's a new chapter in his life. He's trying to get his shit done, or not shit done, but like he's trying to start living crazily again. He's 31 years old, and he's like trying to start having fun again, I guess. Weird story, but anyway. Goes to a party and trips rooms with 30 other people, and she won't let him back in the apartment because you know where he's been. And generally, the shroomage people are not the cleanest people.
Right.
So she's like, yeah, so it's just me in there. I mean, I'm just always by myself, and like I go to work, and I come right downstairs. I go right back upstairs, and that's just the way things are. I feel like that's an open invitation at this point.
Right.
So now I go and I'm walking my dog around. This is like how 95% of the interactions. I'm walking my dog around. I get home from work and I just bump into her, right? But in the meantime,
again, you are walking your dog.
I walk my dog where like.
And she has no dog.
She has a dog. She has the same size dog. That's like they pee in the same area. That's like literally how they're friends.
Okay.
So, but I have a 10-pound dog and she's got a 4-pound dog. So I think that's kind of cute.
Right.
So basically, while I'm walking around, like we had plans to work out later, but I meet this new neighbor, and this neighbor is shit-faced at like 5 p.m. I think it's hilarious. I just want to talk to her because she's just clearly... She's trying to give me shots as if like she's not already shit-faced, but she's got an empty bottle of wine, a full pack of empty cigarettes. She's just got like way too much that she's been doing in the daytime for 5 p.m. And then she starts trying to read my fortune and do all these tarot cards and tell me these stories about how she's had like a traumatic childhood. And I'm just like, I think you're interesting, but that's too much. Like I just met you. I don't know all this. And I'm just looking for an out in the conversation. And then my dog jumps out of my lap, sees the hot girl. And I'm like, thank God, this is like a sign. I look up at her, I was like, oh my God, we have plans, right? And she's like, yeah, totally. And she goes, but it's about to rain, we can't work out. What if we drink instead?
Woo! Woo! I dress myself in cashmere! Woo! 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 Woo!
Okay, so I was like, yes, okay, empty apartment, we're drinking, we're good, everything's fine.
Right.
She invited another guy to come, and I'm like, well, fuck. Okay.
Why?
It was like a friend, another friend.
Why?
But I was like, yes, why? That's what I was upset about. I was upset, right? So I thought it was.
I peaked. Like I got so mad about that. My Y like just took off.
I saw it. Yeah, it's your Y-axis. But so then I'm like, all right, just play cool, keep playing it cool, and just hang out with the guy, hang out with the girl. Everything's gonna be good. Just drink a little bit, have some fun.
Right.
We hung out from like, not even exaggerating, from 6:30 until like 1:30 in the morning. But the guy's still there the whole time.
Was there sexual tension?
Yeah, for sure.
Between
me and her, not her and the guy.
And how was he taking that?
Honestly, okay, let me say it sequentially. We're all having a good time just talking, right? And then this guy is like, I'm bored. I'm going to join an online poker tournament. I'm like, well, that's a weird thing to do in a group of 3, like, because you're doing it by yourself. So now I take this as an opportunity for her and I to hang out. And she's like, hey, let's take a walk. I'm like, great.
And leave
the apartment. Leave him in her apartment, and then let's.
Why invite him?
Huh? I know,
Why
right. So we go pick up some more White Claws, and we're drinking. And she goes, "Hey, how old are you?" I was about to say 23, and she goes, "Oh, I know you're 23 actually because I have your paperwork in the front office." And I was like, "Oh, okay, right, I'm down, okay." And then she's like, "So, you told me where you work," and she's like trying to come up with conversation. And then she said something like, "I got to be honest, I definitely have been Facebook stalking you." And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, things are going so much better than I could have expected. We're on this walk, but I can't make a move, like, mid. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do at this point. Because
right.
It's a lot to process at once. So, it's like 6 months culminating in one walk
night,
back and forth.
Right.
So, then we go back, and she's getting all, like a little bit more touchy, and she's telling me all these stories, but she keeps bringing up the ex-boyfriend. Like, oh, I used to date this guy, blah, blah, blah. And she just kept bringing it up. And I felt like that's like not a red flag, but something that is clearly on their mind that it's in the middle, right? So, and then at a certain point, her and I think she gave me a hug, and then she just kissed me. And I was like, well, that's not what I was expecting at all, because the guy was standing in the room, like it's the ex's best friend is the guy. That's the weird part. That's why I wasn't trying to make a move. What a weird setting, right?
It is the weirdest,
right?
Setting. Because you feel like he's going to report back, right?
Right, he's got to. But I feel like he and I generally have this bro code now. Like, I've been hanging with him. He's not a bad guy. But it's just like, I don't know you. I don't know who you're really like. I don't know who you're going to talk to. So I keep playing my cool. Like,
And you don't think this guy likes her?
No, he specifically said that he didn't, which I thought was kind of weird to say.
Then why be friends? Why come over?
Yeah. What other reason would there be to hang out with a human woman?
I feel like she's trying to cockblock herself by doing that. That's what I'm trying to break
Potentially.
Like she's trying not to rush into it, maybe?
Right. I mean, the 3 of us were going to work out together, so it would make sense that he still hangs out. But in a way, I would have rather him not be there.
Right.
But she kissed me, and I'm like, I'm totally going to kiss her back. So then they're escalating. Like, she's really forceful with it. And at one point, I looked at the dude and I was like, I don't want you to be in this room. Like, I'm sorry. Not like you should leave, but like, sorry, this is awkward. He's like, oh, bro, I don't care. Things are good. Life's fine. And so then we just like really kind of picked up some steam there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, bro, this is really awkward that you're still in this room. Like, you gotta go. And he's like, dude, I get it. Totally understand. Like, I'll leave soon. And I'm like, thank God. Like, so he's not cock blocking me. 3 more hours that he stayed.
Why?
So we're playing like cumbia music or like Latin dancing, salsa dancing, whatever. And he's showing me how to dance. The girl's not in the picture. He's showing me how to dance. And I'm like, dude, not only is it gay enough that you're cock blocking me, but you're also putting your hand on my hips, and I think you got a boner. And I'm just kidding, but it was
I'm just blown away.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, I told you, like we had this communication, like, hey, you're gonna leave, right? I even told the girl, I was like, look, I like the guy, but he's got to go. Like this is very obvious, right? And he won't leave. And at various points, I'm like, man, like. I bet you're pretty tired, huh? Like, just played a lot of poker, but you did a lot in your day. He doesn't leave till 1:30 in the morning.
What is she saying? She's not giving him hints to leave?
She just, whenever I'm talking to her, she's not giving him hints, but when I'm talking to her, she is like, hey, he should leave, right? And it's just a very complicated situation. I don't understand.
Why are people like this?
Oh, it gets weirder. Okay, so then she leaves the room to go to the bath. Oh, first of all, she took a shower like in the middle of all of us hanging out. That was interesting. And then
probably because she thought she was gonna bang and she had time to get cleaned up.
Right. But another thing, I had not eaten all day. Since like 4 p.m. I hadn't eaten anything all day. Not like 2 p.m. And it's now 1 in the morning. I haven't eaten all day. I'm starving. At a certain point, I'm like, I really, really want to get it in, but I really, really am that hungry.
Right.
So I almost considered leaving. And then another point, she leaves and goes to the bathroom. And then I was really confused. The guy knocked on the door, and then he goes in the bathroom. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, I'm in these people's houses. I don't really know them. They're both in the bathroom together. I hear conversation, and it's like she's not pooping or anything, but like I don't know what's going on. Apparently, she was crying like a lot. She was crying a lot about the ex-boyfriend, and he was talking her through it. And I was like, do I go? Like, I don't know what my role is in this society here, but I just played it by ear. I just laid out for a quick nap on the couch, right?
You need to, real quick, hate to interrupt you.
Please do.
You need to, this could be a movie in itself. This could be a dramedy, romantic comedy type
I'm feeling
of
the
shit.
tragedy right now.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. So she cries for like 10-15 minutes. I get a quick nap in. I'm still really, really hungry. And then I was like, dude, well, what a night, man. Like, I hope you have a great night. I'm like giving him the introduction because the bathroom's right by the door. I'm like setting the stage, rolling out the red carpet.
Like, you guys
please get out my face, right?
Yeah.
We're all out of the bathroom now.
You wash your hands.
Yeah, and everything's good. And he's like, yeah, everyone have a great night. I'm going to go smoke some weed, is what he said. I was like, you could have done that hours ago. So now it's 1:30. And I'm like, all right, so now I got to re-engage because she's clearly emotionally all over the place.
Right.
I'm going to say this next sentence, and I want you to believe that there's no exaggeration.
Okay.
This is 100% accurate. 30 seconds after we closed the door, we started having sex.
Right.
So
okay,
that's what I'm saying. We closed the door, pants off. Like, she didn't even ask or anything, just ripped those pants off.
Your pants off.
Her pants.
Her pants.
Her pants. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And I just ripped my pants off, jumped into bed, started having sex.
Was it good?
It was the best sex I've ever had in my life, dude. Like, okay, so I've had some good sex.
Unprotected?
Oh yeah, dude. She didn't even ask. She was just like, "You're getting in here," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm doing now."
Okay.
So she is like really in shape, to where it was like, bruh, chef's just that, like that beautiful goodness, dude. I don't have to get too detailed into the explicitness, but it was just like some of the hottest thing I've ever been a part of. Like that was, and it was mostly her. That was the hotness, a part of it.
Right.
Whoo. Okay. So then I'm assuming we're either gonna go to sleep or whatever. I don't know what's gonna happen. She starts saying, "I want Jack in the Box." I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go buy you some Jack in the Box now.
How long did you last? You last a fair amount of time?
I'm gonna say like 15, like 10, 15.
Did you jerk off earlier in the day?
No. I don't.
First nut of the day.
It was my first nut of the day.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was about 10, 15. I was very drunk, I'll say that. We took like 10 shots that day and like a lot of White Claws.
Okay, well still, let's take
so
a round of applause. That's good.
At this point, it's like when you have this kind of girl in bed, you gotta bring it.
Do you think she came?
No.
Great.
I don't even pretend. But
damn. Did it sound like she was enjoying herself?
Oh, dude, like I put that 1-2 combo in her, and it
you did the bowling ball?
What's the bowling ball?
3 fingers. Strike.
No, I got a cool spare.
Yeah.
But
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Don't like that. But that pooper was unreal. So then at this point, I'm just like, I don't know about you, but sometimes it can be a little bit awkward, the conversation right after sex.
Right. You do know I was just joking about all that other stuff. Those are all quotes.
What?
The bowling ball, 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
I'm just like, I'm on board with it. I understand.
You seemed
yeah.
uncomfortable.
No.
I wanted you to know I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know you're kidding,
Okay.
but no, I took it very personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, it did look like it. You quenched.
couldn't put my fingers on it, but so she's very
Conversation.
very much trying to go to Jack in the Box. I don't want to drive there, but I figured like I'm gonna go to my apartment, get my wallet. Let's go drive over there. We drive all the way to Jack in the Box. We sit in line for like 10, 15 minutes. We're talking. We're looking at the menu. And we're still pretty drunk. And then we're like, hey, is anybody open? Store's totally closed. It had not been open the whole time.
Jack in the Box.
Yeah. So
people are in line for no reason.
Yeah, we sat in line for like 15 minutes.
Well, who
And
else is in line?
No one else is in line. Like me and the girl, we're in line. Like, no, in the drive-thru, everything's closed.
I know.
So just staying.
I know. No,
an
I'm
empty
saying,
Jack in the Box.
No. I'm saying like other cars. A line implies that there's other cars.
I was just at the part of the line. I wasn't thinking clearly. My mind was more so amazed at the series of events that led up to this. I'm not concerned about waiting in line anymore. I'm on sky high levels.
But if
of
no
confidence.
one's there, what line?
There was no. I mean the hole where the line would
Okay.
be. Yeah. So
And you guys just sat there.
we just sat there. We're like, dude, this customer service is terrible. Like this is not working well. And so waited there for a while. And ultimately decided to go to Whataburger. Not the key part of the story. The most important part of the story was I kept asking her. I was like, so like, have you been into me? Or like, have I thought like I was maybe over guessing myself and like not sure if you did like me. And she goes, the day that you moved in, I knew that I liked you. I was like, okay, but didn't you have a boyfriend at the time? She's like, oh, I definitely did. And it had no part in them breaking up, but she got out of a 7-year relationship and maintained that level of interest. I think she wanted that good. Right. So
Right.
I'm glad that she made it happen. That was like very forceful on her end, and I was very about it.
Right.
I left out some choking. There was some choking involved.
She choked you?
She choked me. Yeah. I mean,
In sex.
yeah. No, in the drive-thru.
Oh wait.
No,
Both?
no, just yeah.
Okay.
But she told me that she liked me the entire time, and apparently in the front office where I go and like pay my rent and I also get my free coffee, they call me the baby daddy. I walk in and they're like, "Oh, there's that girl's baby daddy." And I was like, wow, that's confidence boosting for sure.
Yeah.
But the best part is, apparently, I don't know if you're familiar with this concept. There's a movie called Hall Pass.
Yeah, I've seen
where they
it.
said if there's any celebrity or any girl that you want to fuck, like you pick one and that's your free pass. Apparently, you get in trouble if you work in the front office and you have any kind of relationship with the people. But they all have an agreement of they all pick one.
And
They
you're
all
her
pick
one.
one person, and I'm that one person. Oh man!
For
dude.
her?
Yeah.
Or for multiple?
Not for apparently she had to call dibs. So
Okay, good.
But the other one's not cute. So we'll just forget about that one. But basically, I was just giddy with smiles. Everything's good. Wow! What a time! What a night!
Okay.
Everything's good. And dude, it escalated downhill so much farther than that.
Why?
I went to her place. I spent the night there. And she, for some reason, she falls asleep watching Criminal Minds.
Okay, yeah,
But like loud, real loud. Okay, so I'm like struggling to fall asleep. I remember I woke up at 5:30 in the morning.
And
like
it's still on?
Yeah, it's still on. It didn't turn off. My arm is dead at this point. Criminal Minds has been on for like 2 hours, and I have work the next day at 7:30 in the morning. So I just decided I'm not going into work. I'll call in and say I'm sick. I'll tell them I have coronavirus. Like it's fine. And then I wake up and I'm like, well, okay, so she's going to be hungover. She has work the next morning. Not really sure what we're going to do here, but she was super chill in the morning. But in my head...
This was still the first night y'all hooked up?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is like, we
The
hooked up at
following
like
morning.
overnight. This is the following morning. So then she's super cool. She's like, I can bring you some coffee. Like, I'm going to probably like have to take a nap later in the day, but like, well, I'll text you, everything. So I assume everything's good. But I got a little bit too excited, a little bit too ahead of myself. It's not too often a hot girl enters your life in this grand a fashion.
Of course.
So I texted her that night. I was like, what are you doing? Like the next night, I think I got a little bit too ahead of myself. She's like, oh, I'm still sick. I'm feeling pretty bad. And I said, well, like, hey, if you don't feel too bad, maybe we could still maybe watch a movie or something. And she makes up some bullshit excuse. Like, I lost my TV remote. I think I just, whatever. So it's okay. You need a day or two to cool down. Then I'm thinking, like, okay, when do I make the next move? I don't know how long to wait. Easter comes around. And I was like, hey, what are you doing for Easter? And at this point, I realized, but not until after I've hit send, sending way too many texts. I think I sent like not in a row by any means, but over this weekend, like 10 texts, and that's like too many texts.
And she's not replying?
She's replying to all of them, like very quickly.
But not adding.
But like getting around. I'll be like, hey, do you want to hang out later? And she said, oh, the pool's closed. Like, well, that's not an answer, but it's more so saying you don't want to. More than
okay.
Else.
Why do you think she's ducking you?
That's what I'm saying. I think I had the playing it cool factor, which I usually don't, but I had that in my favor for like 6 months now. Dropping subtle hints, playing it cool, not trying whatsoever. And then one night, I get lucky, and I know this is a proven fact. Sex, especially the more attractive the person, makes me dumb. Like trying to talk to that person after the fact, it just makes me dumb.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So now I'm like, okay, well, did I screw up? Like, did I text her too often? Did I make it seem like I was desperate? I was just really horny. Like that's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Right,
I was
you like her.
trying to get back into it, and I did like her. She's a cool person.
Right.
But I decided, okay, wait as long as you can. Don't keep hitting her up. Don't wait. Just you'll run into her. You run into her all the time, right? I run into her on a Tuesday, and she's already drunk. It's like 5 p.m. and it's like 3 or 4 days removed now. So now she's already drunk in the daytime. The same group of friends that we were all drinking with. We got a couple neighbors together. Some of her friends, another friend from I think college or something. We're all hanging out drinking again. And I figure, all right, we're right back in the same element. Everything's good. And then there's a new guy I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'll meet some new friends, whatever. Then we're all hanging out for about an hour. And then out of nowhere, the dude kisses her. And I was like, yo, of all the things that I'd expect, that was not the thing that I expected.
He was there for her.
He was there for her. And the other friends were like, yo, we don't know who this guy is. But like, she's like, oh, we grew up together. I was like, okay, sure. So now I'm like, okay, maybe she was dodging me because she was with this dude, or like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not really too worried about it, but I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want to be there anymore. So I'm like, I'll take another back step or whatever. And then they just like start aggressively making out. Like her on him, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is going on right here? Like, this is a lot. So then she kind of looks around the room and sees me, and she's like, oh, shit. And looks and goes, hey, I'm sorry about that. I was like, what? And she goes, it happens. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's happening, but that doesn't usually happen, right?
Right.
So I'm coming to the deduction that she's with that dude.
And she just wanted to hook up.
She just wanted to hook up, which now I'm kind of conflicted about how to feel, because I did get to bang this girl that I had in my mind for a long time.
Right.
But I felt like I had my cake and I wanted to eat it too, and then now I'm trying to fuck this cake. And I can't, yeah. So.
Wild story.
Dude, yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
That could definitely be a dramedy, though.
Yeah, and I found out since then she's been drinking every single day, like early in the day. Full bottles of liquor every day. Like it's clearly some shit's going on with her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I feel like I took a step back. It's a good thing. It's a healthy thing.
Does this other guy drink?
Yeah, a lot.
Well,
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, could be a
but
thing.
it's like all this group of friends, it's like maybe 4 to 5 friends. They're like constantly drinking, like it's college again. But these people are like 27 to 30 years old, and they're like able to spend a shit ton of money on alcohol, because these handles are like 35, 40 a piece, and they're going through them nightly. So that's kind of insane to me.
That is pretty
It
insane.
made me feel like I was back in college, but I'm with an older group of people now. I was very confused by the whole thing. So at this point, I decided, let it, like, play it cool even more, because now you don't have to try. You know that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
I guess, dude. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with hooking up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, like you said, you get to hook up with a hot chick, and maybe she's not all there mentally. I mean, do you really want a relationship with somebody that watches?
Not to get too messed up, but she's like on antidepressants, and like she's a very high anxiety kind of person. Like super cool to hang out with, but you can tell that she's got some issues.
Right. And Criminal Minds, violently loud, all night.
Right.
Having to put up with that.
She told me she's been to jail numerous times, not for like horrible things, but like physical altercations with an ex, or like a DWI, and like a lot of things.
Oh, dude, then you're good, dude. You left all this out of the story.
Right. Okay, but then, so we're all...
I had her painted as like this angel, and now...
That's how I saw her the first 6 months, and then all in one calendar week is like, the script has been flipped.
You're right. Okay,
and
that does happen.
So now, but the first day that we hung out post-sex was super awkward, because like, we're in a group of friends, same group of friends. I know that she's told them, but we're like not bringing it up. I don't know how to act. That's the thing. It's like, if I'm not dating this person, I don't know how to act post-coitus, right?
It is a delicate thing.
So then she made it so much more awkward, because she's been drinking a lot, as I've been saying. we're all hanging out. We're hanging out with the neighbors. Like, I don't know their names, but like we're all just having a good time. I think we all played Twister together. That was pretty fun.
And you don't know their names?
No, not at all. so they're just the Middle Eastern people that smoke cigarettes every day. So we're all playing Twister, and we are all hanging out. And then I said something like, "Oh,
These Middle Eastern people are drinking that much?"
I mean, they're not Muslim apparently, but they're from the Middle East in some way.
But they're drinking
Yeah.
aggressively
Yeah.
like that. They're
Yeah.
hammered before
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Oh, this one woman she's housing us. She's like 50 years old. She's the one that's aggressively drinking the most.
And she's Middle Eastern.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we are getting through all this, and then we're playing Twister, and I said something about last Thursday, not referencing anything in particular. I was just like, "Oh yeah, I did that last Thursday." And then the girl looks up from her phone. She's like, "Oh, when we banged." Like, to the group, she's like, "Oh, remember that time that we banged last week?" And I was like, "Yes, I remember, but like that's not what I was talking about," to this group of friends. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry, I told everyone." I was like, "Okay, you told everyone.
Okay,
cool,
great,
cool. And so at this point, I was like, peak awkwardness, but at a certain point, I was like, could be a lot worse. Yeah, it could be like a really poor situation there. So yeah, now I'm 90% sure she's dating that dude. But
Do you think... Okay, be honest. Do you think the sex was bad for her?
not enough to get a boyfriend in 2 days.
and tell everyone?
No,
Like, why?
no.
Who benefits from her telling everyone?
No, these are like very close friends.
Of hers.
Like, these are close friends. When I'm saying like everyone, I don't mean the neighbors. I don't mean like random people. I meant like her close friends and the one neighbor that we're all tight with, and then like all the front office people. Everyone that works that knows me personally
Knows you banged.
knows I banged. Which
That's a lot of people.
that's a lot of people. So I don't care. Like, if anything, I'm very happy with if people find out that. That's a good thing.
Good word of
Yeah,
mouth.
good. You're telling me,
Right.
But
unless it was bad.
it wasn't bad.
Okay.
Like, it's not like you tell everyone because it was that bad.
Okay.
You're ruining my confidence here. I'm telling you, it was
I'm
a good thing.
asking.
She told everyone because she's the kind of girl that posts on social media 40 times a day.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. She's an attention person.
Okay.
So, and apparently they're cool enough where everyone's talking constantly.
Great.
So,
So now you got to be cautious who you bang. Because they might tell everybody. Unless it's continuous good word of mouth. But
that's
then
happened before. That's happened to where I slept with somebody and they just were way more casual about it than I was, and they told everybody very publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, depending on the girl, that's one thing you want to have people find out about, or you really don't want people to find out about.
Well, it's a fine line. Because if it gets spread around enough, then it's like, well, he's a man whore. He's just trying to sleep with me. Like, you know.
If anything, I felt like the opposite. I felt like she, not to be any kind of demeaning, but like I felt like the genders were swapped here. Like I feel like she's the one that slept with me, and I was the side piece, and I was like potentially looking for something more. But actually, she was like, "Oh, I just need a good dick."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But so I don't know. It's in the past now. But from the start of that story, for 6 months, it built up pretty quickly, and then just exploded. So
It did explode. And it sounds like you exploded. Did you pull out?
yeah, dude. No, I got her pregnant. Like,
Just because you keep it in doesn't mean she gets pregnant.
I don't want to risk that, dude.
Right.
I've had my scares.
If you're a pullout guy, next time, don't. It's like
You
when
think it's worth the cost of Plan B?
It's like when you could discover microwaving cheese for the first time.
just as gooey.
Yeah.
But no, I think that
That's a comedian's bit. That's credit to Tom Segura. I don't want to get in trouble for copyright infringement. He has a whole bit about that.
I used to be I have always been, this is gonna be real bad, but I've never been a condom guy. I hate condoms.
Okay, good.
And I was with an ex where we had like a scare, everything turned out fine, but then from that point on, her and I always used condoms. Every other person since then, I totally haven't.
Right.
So
you've always pulled out.
Yeah, like I got to. Girls have even told me that I didn't have to.
Because they're on birth control?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't care. At one point I felt an IUD in this girl. And I still didn't. I mean, she was like, you feel that? And I was like, oh yeah, I do. And it's weird to have conversation like mid-sex, but...
Yeah. Feel what? Oh,
yeah,
God.
like, oh wow, that's cool.
That's exciting,
So, yeah.
if anything.
How much did that
How
cost?
did it feel?
Yeah.
How did
it was
feel?
weird. It felt like there was a string inside of her. There was, but I felt like it was more of like a tampon. Than
And you can't break it, right?
I mean, I think I'd have to be pretty powerful.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I'm not going to be...
What if you had one of those, like, unrealistic dicks? I don't know the size of your dick. I'm sure it's fantastic.
It is. It's girth.
Okay. I'm talking about length.
I'm just messing around.
Length and girth.
I just love the word girth.
Yeah. I saw in your high school yearbook they called you the cheese wheel.
What?
For your girth. Never mind.
That was not clear. No.
A wheel of cheese is pretty girthy.
But that's not the first girthy item I would say. We used to call them chodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cheese wheels more delicate.
Oh wow! Now these are terms.
That's another comedian big.
Okay.
Sorry. I speak
But
in quotes.
so now I think life's pretty stress free at this point. 'Cause, I mean,
yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you're just
got it out of off my chest and onto hers.
Are you upset? Nice. Are you upset about it at all? I mean,
yeah, I did dwell on it, and I was like, why? That's what made me feel like kind of a girl in the situation. I was like, why do you sleep with somebody if there's no intentions, or if there are no intentions, just tell them that, and like I'm cool with it.
And guys do that all the time.
Yeah, I've done that a lot.
And I've done it emotionally. I've done it without sleeping with somebody. I like hung out with them. I was like, this is terrible. I'm never talking to this person again.
Yeah, which makes me. I won't get into extreme length, but I think off the pod I told you the story about a random girl that I slept with that brought a whole suitcase. Like, she was really about hanging out. I feel like it's the opposite situation there.
Right.
She's really into me. I'm not into her. We've slept together 3 times, and we still have zero.
Animal Crossing? You slept with
Animal
Crossing 3 times?
3 times, yeah. And we're still talking every day. But
in between this period with this other girl?
They've all been proceeding.
Overlapping?
But I think they will overlap because I'm going to sleep with her again.
Which one? Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing, yeah.
Why?
I mean, it's sex.
It's been good?
No. That's the thing is, like, it's not bad.
And nothing developing there? She literally just comes over every time?
We play video games, and then we fuck, and that's about it. So...
Is she enjoying that?
Yeah.
Does she text you every day?
Every day, yeah. Like, very much more than I text her back. So
she's texting you every day?
Yes.
You got a lot on your plate, man.
Dude,
I'm stressed for you.
You know what the thing is?
I get stressed when you text me.
And oh my god, a social interaction.
Yeah, I'm like, oh
But
god.
the weirdest part is that, I'll be honest, when I moved to Houston the first 7 months, no action whatsoever. Like, I was focused on my job and trying to get things done and trying to exercise. Didn't even entertain women. I was just not considering them. And then during quarantine, 4 times. I've slept with 4 times. Like, I feel like that's generally unhealthy for like pandemic standards.
It is.
But it's like really successful for my standards.
Well, it is ideal because I mean everyone's on the apps right now, but I feel like nobody wants to meet up or.
They specifically urge you on Bumble not to meet up with your friend, the new people you match with. But
so yeah, I don't even because I want to start messaging some of my matches to like be ridiculous and get more content to report about, and you never know what could happen. But I feel like what's the point because no matter how good or bad it goes, I'm literally not going to get to see this person.
You still can. I mean, right when quarantine started, not necessarily quarantine, but whenever this situation started, I went on a Tinder date. It went well.
I don't want to, though.
Just because of what? Like, for safety?
Yeah,
or
what are we going to do? I can't bring them to my place. I live with my parents.
That's the difference. That's the reason I paid for a shitty apartment. And girls respect it. They're like, it's a shitty apartment, but it's not a parent's place.
Exactly.
So I think I've got that going for me.
You do.
But
no, that's definitely a benefit. Huge benefit. That's kind of why I'm not wanting... That's my benefit.
And I think that's why the girl liked it, is because I literally paid her for the apartment. So I think she respected it even more. But...
yeah, now you're onto something. You're on it now.
So all you gotta do is give girls $800 a month. You can sleep one time.
I've read that somewhere. I think it's a business too.
Yeah, no. I think that it can be stressful at times when you got a lot on your plate. But I think about when I was much younger, high school to early college.
Right.
Zero luck with girls, very little confidence, not a lot going on. And if I looked,
Why?
I smoked a ton of weed, and for some reason, I know we differ on this. I would hang out with girls and be charming and nice, whatever, but then I'd smoke with them because those are the kind of girls I was attracting, and then I would lose all game. I could not spit game when I was high.
Yes, I can see that, because that happens, but also the same thing's happening to her. Like, I've smoked with tons of chicks that get way more awkward once you start getting high.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point where I got a good tolerance, and I'm smoking with this chick, and she's just like, she's not even making any sense, and I'm like...
There was a girl one time that moved from Colorado to Houston, and she and I had this little... Just over text, we're talking, and then we hang out one time, and she's like, hey, I know it's awkward, but I'm sick. Can we still hang out? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. So, I was pretty much a virgin, so I really needed a girl in my life. So... Then we decide she's really about weed, I'm really about weed at this time. Let's just have a whole weed date. Like, let's go to the park, let's smoke some weed, and then let's go eat some fucking Panera Bread, right? And then let's go to the roof of the movie theater that I worked at. Let's smoke some more weed, and let's eat a brownie, and then let's go see a movie. And then we'll come back to my parents' place who are out of town, smoke in the backyard. Like, this is like an all-day affair. And progressively, impressively, it got so much more awkward. Because I can't spit game. That's just, I feel like I'm a decent guy at that when I'm sober or in any way drinking. High, I just can't do it.
Right. I don't know. I think I get better when I'm high because I talk less and I just like don't, like I care less. And I think that is a benefit for me.
I talk less, but when I talk, I say some of the dumber shit you've ever seen.
Right.
The other night, I accidentally called a deer a horse.
Yeah, you gotta get that together.
Because we were getting temporary tattoos, and I was like, "Oh, let me get that horse," and that was a deer.
Oh God, oh, man! I think we're getting to the point in the episode where my ass hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other? I guess is there any more to the story? Do you have any other closing thoughts or opinions?
That kind of keeps you up to date up to about yesterday. So the one thing I will say is that she and I do have plans. We're gonna make brownies on 420. So
that
she actually gives me the authority.
The hookup shit.
The hookup shit, yeah. We said that we were gonna, because I don't really smoke like that, but she does. So she's like a big time jeweler. I don't know if like that's not my thing.
It's not.
But she gave me permission to smoke in the apartments and to bake edibles and not necessarily sell them, but distribute them if I give her some. So we're bending the rules quite a bit here.
Right.
But
is she helping and hanging out with you while you're doing it? Or
yeah,
you're just using
she's
her
a
apartment?
bake. Like she knows how to bake really well. I don't know how to bake at all. I just gonna buy the weed.
Who's providing the weed?
I'm about to buy the weed.
Okay.
Dude, I got $1,200 in my bank account. I'm gonna buy.
You get out of Mexico, get a whole trash bag.
I'm gonna buy 1,200 or 120 grams.
Okay. Genius. Ideally, you could get, and it doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, no, that sounds like, I guess, a good plan. Is he the quote unquote new guy?
I wouldn't call it boyfriend. I think it's like another casual thing.
Is new guy gonna be there?
I'm not gonna let him. Like, I mean, it's gonna be in my apartment that we're doing this. So.
Oh, she's coming over here.
Well, she lives one floor above the leasing office, and it gets stanky up in there. I'm not trying to have her lose her job just because I wanted to get her high.
So she's agreeing to come over here.
She's been here before,
but she's coming over here.
I mean,
for
we haven't. I'm in the midst of playing it cool to where I haven't asked yet, but we've already verbally discussed this. You know what I mean? I got myself questioning.
See,
okay?
I thought it was a yes or no question, and you're ducking it.
I'm dodging it. Yeah. No, so now you're making me nervous in that.
I don't want to make you nervous.
I didn't have a verbal contract necessarily that she's coming over here.
Well, how else are you supposed to do this without her coming over here?
I mean, like, yeah, I got her thumbprint, but I mean, I don't know if I have her actual written signature there.
Well, you get her signature, and you.
I do have her email, so I can try to find the.
Yeah, forward her a document.
But yeah, dude, I mean, with quarantine, we got to keep ourselves busy. I mean, it's like we're all trying to just get through this as long as possible. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'm happy with the way things have been. Things are not as bad as they could be.
Yeah, you're right. No. And that's the thing. I actually matched with a chick the other day where I'm like, ooh, I definitely want to message this chick. Mm-hmm. But, again, I'm going to...
At least message. You don't have to meet up, but always message. Right.
I should message because it's better than not messaging, but it's like, how do you kind of be like, hey, I'm interested, but like... let's wait till the quarantine's over. Because I hate messaging on those things. They've heard it all, and they always suggest just going ahead and getting to the first meetup, the first date. But you can't do that right now.
I think you can have more... Okay, this is kind of crazy, but you can spit as much game as you want with no consequences if there's no immediate hangout expected.
That's
right?
true.
So I was doing that with this girl that straight up lives in El Salvador. Like, she was in Texas for maybe a couple days. I don't know how this arose, but by the time we matched, she's like 1,400 miles away. So at this point, I'm like going to practice my Spanish. I'm going to try to get some pickup lines and float them out there, see what starts working. I was pretty proud of what I came up with. I'll say this, because I actually sent a few messages in Spanish 100%.
Oh, God.
Because during quarantine, I've been working in landscaping, and coincidentally with a group of El Salvadorians who have quite dirty mouths.
It's not like one of their cousins that you're talking to, or?
I mean, that's kind of racist.
I meant like, how did you? Oh, you matched with her.
I matched with her, right?
Yeah, okay. Excuse me.
Okay, so I think I started off. I said, "No estoy fluente, pero yo conozco muchas palabras y tomo clases en escuela y colegio. Mi acento no es perfecto, pero me encantan las chicas latinas con acentos."
Okay. I heard, obviously, I
Right.
understood some of the female pronouns in there, and I heard freaking school.
Yeah, I took a lot of classes in school, but my coworkers have been teaching me. My accent is not perfect, but I love Latin chicks with accents. And she says, I like white guys. And I'm like, whoo, okay, it's in the bag, it's in the bag.
Did she say I like white guys in Spanish?
No, she said it in English, which I think was respectful.
Okay.
So, to my culture.
Okay.
So, then conversation gets real dry. I said, where do you live? And she says, LA. And I said, well, why are you in El Salvador? I'm visiting family. Are you coming to Texas anytime soon? No. Okay, so why are we even talking, right?
Right.
So then I leave it alone for a couple of days. I'm like, this is kind of boring me. But she's crazy stupid fine as well. So then I said, looks like I'm going to have to make a trip to El Salvador. I'm trying to climb Mount Cerro El Petal, and then you after.
Nice.
Right? Which I was happy with. She said that's a good one. And I said, girl, are you a papusa? Because you look thick, and I want you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So at this point, I'm just like,
Is she replying?
Yeah, the whole time we talked, we have not since been talking. This is like a week more.
What did she say to those, though?
She said, LMAO, you passed the vibe check. Which is like what I think girls are appreciating right now. It's because, not to sound sexist, but I clearly will,
of course.
Girls love attention, right?
Nice.
And they're not getting that attention, which is why if they're getting constant texts or like at least compliments in some capacity, they like it to some degree. There's all the creeps online that just bombard them with, oh, your ass is fat, you have OnlyFans, whatever. So you got to be just clever, try to drop some like hints in there, but also, who cares? If you're never going to meet this person, I'd say 95% of the people I've matched with on Tinder I've never met.
Right.
But those 5, it clearly worked.
Right.
So
it is a number game. It's like sales.
Yeah, that's a weird way to put it, but it is very accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shoot 100 shots, you try to make 100 sales, you try to make 100 dates, you're probably going to get like 5.
Right.
But you put up those numbers, you're guaranteed to get some.
And then I think another equal one is just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score. I clearly found out there was a goalie, and I still scored.
Nice.
So, but no, I think
Nice.
that girls are complicated, man. Like, it's an interesting facet of life because
People are complicated, bro.
People are complicated, but girls are an unfathomably different level of complicated.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom.
I can't either. I don't get it.
But it's not like, are guys too simple? I mean, I know there's that meme, guys only want one thing, and it's ridiculous. Or
It's like, but if you were willing to do that, we'd give you pretty much everything you wanted.
Oh, I have. I've housed a girl for 2 years because she
There you go.
gave some great. We'll let you fill in the blanks there, but
There you go.
but no. So I'm saying that guys, like I said, you get stupid. You also can be easily coerced. Like your girls are very convincing. Not even specifically through sex, but girls are just very convincing because they can be. And I think they know that.
Yeah. I don't know. It hasn't affected me too much, I guess, because...
Recently or in life in general?
Recently. No, recently. Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't see anybody.
Dude, that's my thing is I feel bad. Like you were accurate that I have been not respecting quarantine.
Right.
But
I didn't mean that disrespectful.
Oh, I took it very much to heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's no.
I am declared an essential worker because one of my jobs, I help my parents with their landscaping company, and another job, I work moving furniture. Neither one of those seems that drastically essential, but both businesses are failing enough that they just decided to claim us essential. So I'm out around people all the time. I'm wearing gloves and sometimes masks, but I'm just not even that worried. I'm not that nervous. I know one friend that caught coronavirus in a different city, and he's totally healthy. And that's the least healthy human being that I know.
But
Constant
you haven't
smoker.
seen him physically?
No, I haven't seen him in a year.
Okay, cool.
But it's funny because he does FaceTime me, and he'll cough on FaceTime, and I get worried. So it's not a realistic threat, but it's also like I don't want you to.
You never know.
Yeah. It's recently found out that you can pick up coronavirus through FaceTime. No, man, I don't know when this is going to be over. This is going to be a really interesting facet of American history to see when this is really going to go down.
Yeah. I mean, do you buy into the conspiracy theories at all? Do you think part of it's fake?
No part of it's fake. There's too many people died for it to be not a legitimate thing. Only real conspiracy I've heard is that it began in a lab in Wuhan, China, which apparently this is from severe right-wing sources that are not usually very trustworthy, but they said that the wet market where the man ate the bat started 1 minute from this lab, as if a bat escaped and a guy caught it out of the air and took a bite out of it like Ozzy Osbourne, and then just spread the world into just utter dismay. I don't know. It's weird.
It's
that
super weird.
I read one of my favorite memes is what do the World Health Organization and the Joker have in common? They both hate the Batman. It's dumb, but
yeah, that's good.
But weirdly enough, I think quarantine has been really beneficial for a lot of people to realize that everyday office life is too redundant and you can do 90% of that work from home.
Right.
And people that create content in some capacity, like music or sometimes literally just social media that they record at home, like they're putting out their best content because they realize that people are at home watching. There's all these virtual concerts, and I mean, sports has taken the biggest hit for sure. But it's
starting Sunday, ESPN 30 for 30, The Last Dance.
Oh, is it the Michael Jordan dog?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm tuning in hardcore for that.
I don't have cable, but I would like to watch that very sure.
You can get ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus all together for one low price.
Would it be on ESPN Plus, or what is it on?
Mm-hmm. It's on ESPN.
Okay. Well,
so if you have ESPN on cable, or if you have ESPN Plus, like the streaming app, which is like I think $5-6 a month, you'd probably get a free trial if you haven't already. Mm-hmm. You can just watch it.
Okay. No, I mean it's worth. I mean, not paying for it, but it's worth watching. So
it's $6, dude. Just cancel it.
No, I paid $11.99 by mistake. You know how I do this whole jig of saying I'm gonna do 30 days of free trials, and then on the last day I always cancel. I got really into that Dave show, and I forgot to cancel, and I paid $11, and that's the first time I've paid for media in any capacity in 9 years.
Oh, I know.
I was frustrated.
I cursed you out on the.
I ruined my streak. I ruined my streak for that. I was pretty upset.
Oh my god.
Well, the only other thing that I paid for was I paid for Louis C.K. as a new special. And if you like Louis C.K. as much as I do, he came out with a new special that is purely content about him masturbating in front of people. And it's so bad.
It's a stand-up?
It's a stand-up special that is clearly not going to be promoted by Netflix or by any...
Just released it on
He released it on his website, right? And I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to find it online. I don't know how to rip it off. Like, I don't know what to do. But in my own weird, convoluted way, I respect him enough as a comedian. Maybe not a human being, but enough to where I'll pay for that. Like, I'll break my streak.
So you went on his website and bought it?
I paid $8 for a stand-up special. And
had it, like, digitally?
Yeah, you just pay for it, and then it downloads the file to your computer.
Oh, okay.
And you can watch it on the site as well. So I have it. You can have it. I'll copyright infringe for you.
Don't do
that. But it's on record. Make sure it's on record that I consent to that. But I'm going down someday. I know that.
Okay,
I'm going to jail.
For what?
For copyright infringement.
Really?
I've been reached out to 3 times. From NBC, from the websites that I download them from Warner Brothers, like their lawyers. Like, I just keep getting new IP addresses.
You gotta stop. You gotta.
No, that's what VPNs are for.
I know, but you make it sound like you're gonna get caught. So.
Oh, I honestly think that if I did it for 10 years straight and I got caught once, it might be fully worth it. Depending on the severity of how much you got in trouble.
I mean, if you had a fine of $250,000, I mean, that'd probably be the amount you would have
paid. The amount that I would have paid for content.
Right, or it would have been more.
Hypothetically, yeah. I think, when I was really pushing my luck was when I was in high school. I used to download movies and then sell them to people on flash drives. It'd be like,
nice.
Hey, cash exchanges, here's like $1 for Goodfellas, you know.
How much are you paying for that flash drive, though?
I mean, I'd get the file back. That's like the perfect business, is because you just plug it in, transmit it, you copy it. You still have your own file.
Oh.
It's like having an apple tree that has unlimited apples, and you hand someone an apple, and then you still have your own apple. And it's also really cool content.
Right.
But, I mean, I have started trying to respect, if there's artists, like I was mentioning about Louis C.K., I really, really, he's my favorite comedian, bar none. I want to support him because he's had the worst stretch of comedian history, probably next to Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
But, and I honestly, I don't want to start anything too controversial, but I think he should not have been blackballed as hard as he did.
Probably not. That's why a lot of comedians have come to his defense. Even I feel like a few female comics have been like.
Sarah Silverman was in his defense,
right?
And I think he even
Nikki
tried.
Glaser,
yeah,
I think,
yeah. So,
or just a lot of them have been like, "Hey, I wouldn't want him to jerk off in front of me," but like
he did ask.
Yeah, they're like, she's like, I understand the situation. Like, I wouldn't have been in that situation. So, and I think Louis C.K. is a comedian. Comedians are weird. Like, I don't know. They like, that's kind of how they.
Well, he starts out the special like, "Hey everybody, how's your last 18 months been? And everyone's just laughing and goes, oh, what, you didn't lose $28 million? What, you didn't lose a TV show and all of your money and all your friends? And you didn't be forced to leave the country? What a great time. I mean, yeah, so it's bad. But
wait, forced to leave the country?
He wasn't forced to, but he was basically ridiculed so heavily. It's like you can't be Harvey Weinstein and go out to eat, you know, because everyone's going to shit on you.
Right.
So he basically moved to Europe for like a year plus and then met a French chick and she consented to it, so everything was good. But basically he's like dating a French girl now.
I mean, good for him. You know, I do want to watch the special. Right. I'll be honest with you. I'm about to piss my pants.
I am too. Yeah.
So let's. It's been a great episode. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
Can we cross streams? Like, what's going to happen here?
We probably will. I wish we could record it, but next time we'll do that for the next Decent Show episode. When we get video, we'll have some stream crossing. Thank you so much, Kirby, for coming on for another episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We are going to be beefing up our social media here pretty soon. We might get at least some memes. We're going to try to post some crap every day. Get you guys interacted, and we're going to start answering your questions here pretty soon. I know you got a lot of burning questions.
It's more the burning that I'm about to pee. So
exactly. So for Kirby, I'm Ryan. You guys have a great night.